Now, everybody, Connor, very cleverly, has managed to find a little male leopard. So fat that he can barely move. There is Hosanna. I have yet to go to this sighting, so I'm not sure exactly which tree his pantry is in. But there he is, and you can see, even at this distance, he is panting so heavily that he can barely move. So he's done a fantastic job of catching and killing that impala. He's devoured it. He's managed to stash it stash it away from all of the scavengers that come around here. And so he's done a really exceptional, very mature job of this particular meal that he's created for himself. Created here, and that's a really bad word. Destroyed for himself. And I don't know, it was in a big silver cluster leaf, I think, that he'd hidden it all. Anyway, it's somewhere around there. And what a great job he's doing. Taylor will come up towards the sighting and she will hopefully get a better view of him from the vehicle. But isn't that fun? And all he can hear, of course, is some bees flying around above him. So he'll look up every so often in the same way that he'll look up every so often if there's a vehicle sitting there with people talking. So I'm not in the slightest bit worried that he's being disturbed, because he's not moving and he's not worried at all. Now, Thomas, this is a very interesting question, which I think is quite difficult to answer. We'll just keep looking at him here, and then the next time you come back to me, what I'll do is I'll draw you a map and show you exactly where the territories are. But your question is a good one. Are there any other leopards looking to take over Karula's territory? And the answer, Thomas, is it doesn't really work like that. So it's not like you, or like human beings, sort of deciding they want to take a country and then invading. What happens is a territory becomes unoccupied, as Karula's is now. Now, normally what will happen then is that other leopardesses from around the area will sort of close in from all sides. So she has shadow to her western side.
I have indeed. What do you mean stolen the show, Taylor? Shame on you. I've just let the other vehicle position quickly. Let's see if we can get a nice view of him. I'm going to try reposition. Hold on. So he's got that kill up in the tree, but he has moved. There he is. He's lying right down there. Are you alright there, Seb? Yeah. Is that good? There we go. No, perfect, thank you. No, that's lovely. Now, we did look here earlier, and I'm almost certain he wasn't lying down here when we drove past. But Connor apparently saw him from the drone. So where was he? Did he come up from the waterhole, or maybe Kirsten can give me an update? I don't know. Okay, so he was drinking earlier, and then Connor spotted him. So just as we thought, in the heat of the day, he moved down to drink in the water, and then drink from the dam, and then return back up here to where the kill is. And it's wonderful for this young leopard. He's obviously still got a little bit of meat left. We did see a portion of that carcass up in the tree, but I think by tomorrow he'll most likely move off, unless, if he's clever, there's so many antelope moving up and down through this whole area, he might just hang around and maybe get another kill in the next day or two. But I think he's done very well for himself, especially for his first kill from what we've seen. Now, Gil, you asked, why do leopards put their kill in a tree? Well, Gil, the main reason is to keep it out of reach of predators. So other predators like hyena and lions. Now, I have seen lions, we do know how lions can climb trees, not as well as leopards, not as agile, but they can climb trees, and if they wanted to get a kill, they probably could. But the main reason is to keep it out of reach of scavengers like the hyena. The hyena move around a lot, and as you know, if you've been watching, we've got a lot of hyena activity around this area. Often see their tracks walking around during the night, so you see their tracks the next morning, covering most of this property. So they'll pick up on the scent of something like a kill and then try and chase, especially a young male leopard like this. One hyena would most likely chase him off quite easily, purely because he's inexperienced. So they would hoist their kill into a tree, keep it out of reach of those hyena, because the hyena cannot climb, and then he can go back and forth feeding on it when he's ready. Now again, I think patience might pay off here again, so we'll sit here for some time, and hopefully get to see him move again. The other day we were rewarded. He did get up and move and climb into that tree. Maybe it happens again. You can see he's panting quite heavily, so that will be a combination of him being hot and also because he's full. A lot of impala meat in him at the moment, so the leopards do pant heavily when their bellies are so full, but I think that's a combination of the heat and being full. Now, a lot of you have been asking, is there an update on Shungile? Any news on Shungile, the young female leopard? Nothing yet. We haven't heard anything yet, so not too sure whereabouts she is or what's going on. So we'll, as soon as we hear something, we'll obviously let you know. But I'm not sure. I wonder if she hasn't just been hiding south of our boundary in the thickets down there, but she hasn't been seen for a few days. So not too sure. I mean, she was also trying to hunt little terrapins and that around the dams. So maybe that has sustained her for a bit and kept her going. We know Hosana, young Hosana, was doing that for a bit. We got to see him hunting terrapins, but he then progressed to hunting impala quite quickly. So this, we think, is his first legit or proper kill that we've seen. A young male impala. It was a young male, not a full-grown male. It was a young male impala. We could tell by the size of the horns. But still, a lot of meat on there for him, and he hasn't had to share it with anyone. This is, I think, the first time he's got a proper kill that he hasn't had to share with his mother or his sister. So that is something quite interesting. And I think he's done very well for himself, so he's a happy leopard. We're going to sit here a little bit longer and see what he does get up to. Let's head back to James with a mystery. Well, we're doing very well, thanks, Brent. We've got a leopard. It sounds like you're seeing amazing stuff in the Mara there at the moment. It really is incredible. Again, just to cross live from the Sabi Sands down in South Africa all the way to the Mara up in East Africa. Now, Hosana did have his head up, but he's put his head back down. We were getting excited there for a second. Weren't sure if he was going to move or not. But again, we're just going to be very, very patient. I'm trying to think if I can see any of that kill. He had hoisted it, yeah, he's hoisted it a little bit higher up in the tree. Oh, there's a beautiful Inyala. So there's a lot going on. You see these Inyala, okay, but the Inyala is not really in danger out there. It's out in the open. Beautiful antelope. So as I was saying, I think for young Hosana to be around here, it's a lovely area for him to potentially try and hunt. But I'm almost certain he will move off at some point and try and find a new little area to wander through. You see, because he's not territorial, he's now known as nomadic. So he'll just move around and find space where he can until he's dominant enough or large enough, old enough to be able to start setting up territory, but not yet, far too young. And it will only probably happen at the age of about 4 or 5 years old, where he will start scent marking and trying to set up a territory for himself. I'm just going to roll a bit forward here. Sorry, Kirsten, I couldn't copy that. Ben asked how... What was the question? Oh, safe. Well, Ben, you asked how safe is Hosana. Now, Ben, it's I mean, in terms of him getting through a difficult stage with trying to learn to hunt for himself and that, so he's got through that hurdle, got past that hurdle. In terms of safety, I think the things that would potentially harm this young male leopard out here are lions, hyena, and other leopards. Now, in terms of lions, we haven't had too much lion activity around. He would just have to watch out for the Nkuhuma pride if they do head back into this area, and the Birmingham males. But then again, he could easily get away from them just by climbing up into a tree. And I think he's learnt to be very, very elusive already and hide away when he doesn't want to be seen. So I think he's safe from that. The hyena, again, similar situation. As long as they don't surprise him, and hyena generally will leave a leopard alone unless it's got a kill. Then they may potentially attack it to try and steal that kill. But again, if he climbs up into a tree, he'll be completely safe. The other thing would be leopards. Now, the only leopards that would potentially pose a threat to this young male would be other dominant males. Now, in this area, the big dominant male is Tingana, who we think is Hosana's father, this young male's father. Now, that big male leopard, if he does bump into this young male, at this stage, from what I've seen in the past, at this age, he will tolerate this young male leopard in his territory. He won't chase him off just yet because he doesn't pose a threat. He's still too young to set up territory. He's too young to mate. He's still learning. So the chances are that that big male will most likely tolerate this young male in his territory because he is offspring. When he gets to a certain age, he may indeed then decide to chase him out, and this male will have to go and look for a territory elsewhere. If another dominant male leopard comes into the area, then that could potentially be dangerous for this male. But again, it might just end up in more of a case where that leopard chases this one off, not necessarily a fight. Because leopards are solitary, they try and avoid fighting, and the reason for that is because they are unable to hunt for themselves if they get injured. So usually what happens is it's often a display, growling, scent marking, and the dominant one will chase the less dominant one off. Now and then, and very seldom, but now and then you do get a scrap, a fight breaking out between two big male leopards. But it's a lot of scratching, biting, and then once the winner has been decided, the other one moves off fairly quickly before any serious damage is caused. Oh, now Brent has got a hyena in the Mara. So it sounds like Brent's having a rather quiet afternoon up there. Let's go see how it's going. Well, Hosana has lifted his head, everyone. His young male leopard's head is up. He gave us one yawn, but this is a good sign. Perhaps he decides to start waking up. Looks like a big sight. Look at the flies, chasing the flies. Oh, such a wonderful view of him. Very, very nice. Well, it's all been happening this afternoon. Geez, lions in the Mara. I must admit, I'd love to see some of that footage when I get back to camp, because for Brent to have seen the Topi and the Thompson's gazelle, very curious to see all of that. No, he's just back down again. Let's just see, maybe these flies bother him enough that he decides to get up and move. But I think he's in no rush. The kill is hoisted. There's no need for him to get up and move over to that kill very quickly. He'll do so when he pleases and when he's ready. You can see that belly is very, very full at the moment. We spoke about just how a full belly and a combination of the heat will cause him to pant quite heavily, and that's exactly what he's doing at the moment. He has found a nice little spot. It's probably quite cool in that long grass or those little shrubs there. It's been in the shade for most of the day, so I think it's very cool there. It's a lovely spot. There's a lot of you commenting on how beautiful it is. It is indeed, but I must be honest, I've never heard of an ugly leopard. I've never heard someone refer to a leopard as being ugly. They're magnificent cats. I do enjoy sitting with them like this. I think it's very peaceful, and again, we are very fortunate because we know how elusive leopards can be. So to be able to sit with the leopard like this for quite some time and enjoy it is really, really special. I'm going to sit with him a bit longer, see if he does decide to get up. We'll keep you updated. Have a look just quickly. There's some impala in the background. Well, James, are you calling me the little chief or young Hasana, and who wants to be the big chief? We'll discuss that tonight over dinner. We'll discuss that tonight over dinner and an arm wrestle, James. How's that? Now his head is up again. He's looking around. There's a lot of antelope moving through this area. Inyala in the background, and then there are wildebeest behind us that have been moving through the thicket. Can't see them at the moment, but a lot of wildebeest. The impala are ratting around here, so there's a lot going on that I think is catching his attention. So that's why he's up and looking around. I love YouTube. You asked how big are their paws. So this young male leopard, his paws are probably, if I can show you over here, you can just see over there, but let me show you in perspective to my hand. It's probably those young paws are most likely about that big, somewhere around there. So I would say that section of my palm, that's most likely the size of a young male leopard. Big males can get a little bit bigger, so yeah, but I would say this young male leopard probably about that size, if that makes sense. The female leopards' tracks are much smaller because they are smaller cats, so the female leopard track or paw is about that size, much smaller than a male's. A male's probably much bigger, about that size. And then obviously lions have rather big paws. Nice and peaceful. I can hear a grey-headed bush shrike calling in the distance. And there's the blacksmith lapwings at the waterhole. There were baboons down there earlier at the dam. I think have they moved? I think they've moved off. Probably going to. Oh, they're still there. Okay, they're still there. I think they can see them on the dam cam. But they'll probably climb into the trees, the big trees in the drainage line shortly, and sleep there for the night. I'm just hoping that this young leopard decides to stand up and move around a bit. He looks a little lazy, doesn't he? Oh, there's a yawn. Oh, look at that. Now that's a good sign, because with a yawn they're obviously trying to get oxygen into their body. And I always guess, but I reckon 2 or 3 yawns, and then the chances are he might stand up and move. Let's see. Lovely shot of that. I mean, just you can see his camouflage. He blends in just behind those leaves. You can see those beautiful eyes. Oh, there's another one. Okay, that's 2. That's 2. Come on, let's see. Seb, what do you think? I think 3 yawns.
3 is the magic number.
You think so? Let's see. White Lady Owen. No, I don't think he's developing a dewlap just yet. You asked if it's just perhaps because he's full. I don't think so. I think it's just a little bit of maybe the angle he's sitting at, but he's still far too young for that dewlap. You can just see his throat moving up and down, I think possibly just from the panting there, but it's not necessarily a dewlap that's forming there just yet. He's still a bit too young. That's just breathing and just a little bit of loose skin around there, but it's not a proper dewlap that you see on a big male like Tingana. Come on, we need one more yawn. It's like a waiting game, isn't it? But we know that the patience does help. Oh, really? Okay. We're going to head to Taylor, who's leaving Arethusa now and on her way back to Djuma. He has indeed. There he is, up and on the move, back towards the tree, still looking around. And is moving towards that tree. I'm just going to reposition quickly. Hold on a second. I'm going to go this side because I think we'll see him climbing up the tree from here. Hold on. Oh, there he is. He's just over there. Let's see. Maybe we see him jump up into that tree from this angle. Okay, get ready, because I think he's going to jump up soon. And it takes a while sometimes, again, the patience game.
Maybe he's so full he can't jump.
Yeah, he's so full. Now, White Lady Owen, just getting back to that question you asked earlier about that dewlap. I don't think it's a dewlap just yet. I mean, it's a bit of loose skin, but I mean, eventually that will form part of his dewlap. But again, he's far too young for a dewlap. Like a big dominant male that a big dominant male leopard has. Alright, let's quickly head to Brent in the Mara. He wants to say goodbye, and we'll sit with Thosana a bit longer. Just climbed up into the tree, and he's back up with that kill right in the thicket over there. Can hardly see him. He's got it lodged in a perfect position, very safe position. You can just see a few spots. Beautiful to see him jump up and walk along that log up into the tree over there. So agile, up right into that thicket on a very thick part of the tree, but he's got the remains of that impala kill up there. You can just see him. There we go. So well camouflaged, isn't he? Now again, I always find it so wonderful to see how agile these cats are when they're moving through a tree, trying to feed on a carcass. And he's moved this carcass a number of times over the last 3 days, in and out of the tree, higher up, lower down, so a few different positions. I don't think we are going to get a better view of him from here, but we fortunately did get a lovely view of him. I think what I'm going to do is rather leave him. I'm going to turn the spotlights off, and we'll leave him for the night, But we'll continue and see what else we can find. But lovely view of him. Isn't that great? Nice to see him eventually get up and go. And like I say, I think he'll probably finish that carcass tonight. There's not much left of it. And I think by tomorrow he'll most likely decide to move off. But we will have a look and see. So I'm going to move out of this little area and see what else we can find. Let's get back to Taylor and see where she is.